welcome back. A few videos ago I had a video where I summarized some shot and had some coffee with you guys, and we talked about that I was going to make a segmenting sled to replace one that I had with the old table saw. And that's what we're going to do in this video. Actually, it's going to be a two-part video. The first part, which is this one, is going to be the build. The second part will be how to use the sled. I had to break it up because it would have ended up being 25-30 minutes long. So sorry about that, but I had to break it up to keep them a little shorter. But little details about the sled is 19.5 inches long, 16 inches wide. It has two pieces of 3/4 inch mahogany plywood laminated together to form the back fence. One piece of 3/4 inch ply for the back end fence, and both fences are capped with 1/4 inch popular hardwood. We've got two hold down tracks. The first one, it's 3 inches away from the back fence. That gives me room in here to use this as a crosscut sled. We'll demonstrate the use of it in part 2. So the first one, we have 3 inches from the fence to the first track, 8 inches in between the two tracks. The two hold down tracks are placed in 3/4 inch wide by 3/8 inch deep dados, and they're not, the hold down tracks aren't sitting flush because I use them to butt up against the inserts that I use to set my angles for my segmenting. I use that to butt up against. So that's kind of a rundown of what we're going to do in the building of this sled. And it also has a blade guard in the back of mahogany hardwood. And the first thing that we're going to do, is you're going to see, is we're going to set up the router to cut these dados to house these hold down tracks. So that's the plan, and I'm glad you tuned in, and stay tuned. I want to show you how I've got this set up. I've got a 3/4 inch straight router bit in, and I've got it set to a height of 3/8, half the depth of the plywood. And I've got it set up toward the edge of the bit is also the edge of the fence here, and the same over here. The edge of the bit is on the edge of the fence, and that will give me a reference point to start and stop dados. What we'll do on the first one is I want this dado to stop right here, so I'll actually run it through the router bit, and then I'll stop it when that mark hits right there at the back edge of that fence, and that'll give me the stop dado for that. There you can see our dado stopped right where we want it. Now we'll repeat that here, but the other one we've got to drop it in on this line and run it out to the end. So now I'll reset the fence for this end. See there, we'll have a real nice tight fit. We'll take a chisel and square that up a little bit. You can see we've got a nice tight fit. Next order of business is going to be to cut two pieces, 19.5 by 2.5, and laminate those together for this back fence. That's going to be the back one, the back fence, and I'm going to laminate these two together, and this will be the front fence. Again, just using Tight Bond 2. Spread it out even. I really need to get some of those fast cap glue bottles. That's what I've seen. Those are really pretty nice. We'll set that aside. While that is drying, I'm going to go ahead and cut a 1.5 inch wide by 19.5 by 1/4 inch piece to use as banding on the edge of that mahogany plywood. We're going to have mahogany plywood, and we're going to use a poplar banding. While we're waiting on the glue to dry, we need to make the runners that'll go underneath the sled that'll sit in these two miter slots. Had a piece of scrap white oak that sits in there just real nice. Maybe just a little too much drag. Thinking maybe a little sanding, but I think we first need to hit it with some sandpaper. See if that did it. Oh yeah, we've got no slop and it's sliding real nice. Alright, I think I'm going to resaw this on the bandsaw, cut it right in half so it'll be 3/8 a piece, and we'll have both. We have bandsaw set up to resaw this, and then that's going to give us two, one for each miter slot. Okay, I'm ready to place the miter strips in the miter gauge and then position the sled in the right spot. First thing I want to do though is so that these don't bottom out, I want to put a little shim in the miter slot, in each miter slot. Then we drop that. That holds that up just a little bit so it doesn't bottom out until we get it glued. What I'm going to use my fence to square that up. That's where we'll locate it. Put just a touch of glue on them. It's Got some 1-inch brads. No play whatsoever. Going to secure the runners with number 8 by 3/4 inch screws, and I need to countersink them. So first off, I'm going to mark. And we'll just drive these screws on. Apologize, my battery died on me and I didn't realize it. I went ahead and countersunk the screws, put the screws in, holding the runners to the sled. Now we'll attach the back fence. Do this, you want to be careful not to put nails in the path where your blade's going to run. I almost did. After that dries, we can put our front fence on. Alright. We are ready to install this banding on the top. Install it, and then I'll flush trim it, but it's pretty close to fitting as it is. Just going to use some brads, I think. When you build this, you have to just kind of have to, and the first one you build may not fulfill all your needs. The one that I just replaced, I used for a year and a half, but I was lazy and didn't want to build another one, and it fit my table saw. But when I got rid of my DeWalt, I needed to, the miter slots were located different, so I really needed to build another one. So I took this opportunity to make it, 1, a little larger, and 2, to put the dados in for the hold down tracks, which wasn't in the first one, and I allowed more room. So hopefully this one will serve me better. There were some times where I couldn't cut some segments that I wanted to cut with the other sled, but this one might. So you learn from as you grow in your woodworking, your tools change. So keep that in mind. If you want to build it to expand, that's fine. Give this a little round over real quick. You could run that over a router if you wanted, but a little bit of hand sanding never hurt anybody. A lot of hand sanding, I have to reconsider that one. Take that sharp edge off. Alright, we're ready to put that on the sled now. We need to go ahead and raise the blade, run it through so that we can get the blade through here, put 90 degrees on it, and try to get this as close to 90 as you can. What I think I'll do first is put a screw in this corner where we can have a pivot point to move it with. Okay, so now we've got pivot points so that we can get it square. First off though, we have to run the blade up. Now we can get it square here. Get it in between the teeth. Clamp it down right there in that position. Glue on this edge banding before we retire for the evening. Alright, that'll about do it for tonight. It's running on 11 o'clock Texas time, so it's about time to call it quits. Tomorrow we'll square off with a chisel, square off the dados for these hold down tracks, and we'll install those, and then I'll show you how the sled is used. See you tomorrow.